Homeopathics are usually initially taken from a plant. So the plant itself is gone through an extracting process, usually with water and some sort of alcohol. So where they got these all the energy and frequency from that plant as well into the actual solution. So with that, so there's quite a few different strengths out there, stuff like that. The most common that you'll see is X or C after a homeopathic's name, and that's, if you know Roman numerals, you can probably guess what it is. X is usually by times 10, and where C would be times 100. So what that basically means is if you take that mother solution and you put 1 drop of that mother solution into 99 more drops of water, at that point, that's when you have a 1x. And then to be able to get a 2x, you have to take 1 drop of that 1x solution to 99 drops of water. And it progresses up. Most common that I see is usually a 6 or a 30. There's obviously much higher as well. But the other thing you need to know with that is 6. Anytime you see something that says 6, it is for a very specific pointed issue. So that's usually like, oh my gosh, I have this horrible headache and that's it. Or I'm vomiting and I want that to stop. It's very specific things where 30 or higher is more general. So like I'm achy all over, or it's something that's more generalized across the board. Also, obviously, as you can guess, the further dilution away, it still has the energy frequency, and it continues that energy frequency towards actually getting, the energy frequency is getting more potent, but the herb itself is almost non-existent by the time you get to 6, and then definitely by the time you get to like 30. So, and most people don't understand that. They'll read something, because there's some that have very common names that we know, because they're, we know their scientific names. The big one's belladonna, that everyone always freaks out about.
Yeah, like the FDA, it's a freaking crime that they're going after Highlands for their teething gel, I believe.
And their tablets, yeah.
And their tablets, because of this belladonna that is supposedly in the tablets causing all sorts of havoc. But it's not actually in there. It's the energy signature being transferred from one medium to the next to inside your system. Yeah. It's a crime. It's absolute travesty that's even happening. But that's the FDA for you.
So this is actually invented back in the late 1700s. Homeopathics actually comes from a Latin phrase that means likes, heal likes. So the way that this German that came up with it actually did it is he realized that if, for example, a plant if you were to eat the actual plant or make a syrup from the actual plant, if it would induce vomiting, the type of vomiting that it would induce, if you then made a homeopathic with those different things, once it gets further away but has the frequency of the plant, it would actually do the opposite. It would cure that. Much like we know, like snake venom versus anti-venom. You still need the original snake venom to make an anti-venom. And he was able to, find out, like, okay, so it's this type of headache you get. Well, I know if somebody takes this particular plant, they get that type of headache. So then he would make a form of homeopathic from that plant to then treat said headaches or whatever the disease. So one of my favorite books that I actually used in school is the Pocket Manual of Homeopathic Materia Medica by William Boericke, MD. This is the redone edition. You can tell it is a wonderful pocket guide. But it is about size 4 or 6 print on the inside. So it is something that if your eyesight is not quite as well, you will probably definitely need glasses or a magnifying glass to read it. But one of the things that I love about it is it not only tells you what each one is for, because every one of them has a core thing that it helps, but they also all have like little things that it helps. So like if you go to the store and you're going to buy it, usually they're going to label it with the most common use. They don't always have some of those backup uses, which, believe it or not, usually are the reason you're going for, is usually the backup reason for something. And the other great thing about this is it actually tells you what plant it's actually coming from, in case you didn't know. But the thing to really understand is there is none of that plant left in there when you're taking them, if it is a 6 or higher.
Now, is that the same with the Bach flower essence? I see a couple of books there with the Bach flower essences, because they're kind of related, but it's a little bit different, right?
So it is a little bit different. So the way Bach flower remedies are, it was invented by a man whose last name is Bach, which is why it's spelled B-A-C-H. And it is... the way that is made, he actually found it where his wife liked to have flowers floating in water on their table. And so what he was realizing is the energy from those flowers was then being transferred to the water. So instead of actually having a solution that means like pulling or extracting anything from the actual plant, it's just purely the energy from it. So it's more energy than anything else. And it's usually only from flowers, which is one of the reasons it's called Bach flower. There are a few like wood-based ones, if I remember right. But it is 100% energy. And it's usually, if you were thinking of it as like a, in comparison to homeopathic, it would be a 1 dilution rather than a multiple dilution, because it's just the energy. So it's basically just the water. And sometimes I'll put alcohol to preserve it.